Hi, I'm Wayne Allyn for Root for America. I've known for 8 long years what a poor excuse for a man we have as president. I've known for 8 long years what a deep, dark hole Obama is leading this country down. I've known for 8 long years that he's either mentally unstable, incredibly ignorant, or an extreme Muslim sympathizer like we've never seen in history. I hope other Americans are waking up after last Sunday's pathetic presidential address to the nation immediately after the Islamic terror attack in Orlando, Florida. It's time to talk frankly. Obama's speech was the most insulting, revolting, and embarrassing speech ever by an American president. It made me sick to my stomach. Obama is the commander in chief, right? He certainly knows far more than you or me, average citizens, certainly far more than journalists on Fox News or CNN. They just read a prompter, right? Obama knows what the FBI chief knows, what the Orlando police chief where the incident happens knows, what the CIA knows, what military intelligence knows. His press conference was even pushed back by 30 minutes because you would assume he wanted the absolute latest intelligence. Yet at the moment Obama walked to the podium, I, Wayne Root, already knew the mass murderer was Muslim. He pledged allegiance to ISIS. ISIS itself warned publicly 3 days before about a pending terrorist attack in Florida. The murderer called 911 to give credit to ISIS before walking into the club. And finally, number 5, he yelled Allah Akbar before opening fire in the club. Only minutes after Obama was done with his pathetic address to the nation, it was reported that ISIS took credit for the attack. That was also undoubtedly known to him when he walked to the podium. It was released to him a half hour before it was ever released to the press, I guarantee you. Yet with all of those facts at hand, Obama didn't mention the words Islamic or Muslim or even radical Islam in the entire address to the nation. No mention was ever made of the religion or the background of the worst mass murderer in U.S. history. Obama still would not say the words Islamic or terror attack or jihad in the same sentence. Obama still would not assign blame to Islam or radical Islam or jihad. He knew exactly at that moment that the attack was related not just to terrorism, but Islamic terrorism. Yet he still could not bring himself to mention those words. But he was certainly angry. Steam was certainly coming out of his ears because he had to admit the attack was in fact terrorism. We've been through this so many times before under Obama. He's always quick to blame guns or Republicans whenever there's an attack, but the word terrorism rarely ever comes out of his mouth. But this time he had no choice. All the facts were in. This was 100% ISIS verified before Obama walked to that podium. So he had to admit it was a terror attack or he'd have looked like a fool. Even Obama knew he couldn't avoid that. So he used the word terror, but not Islamic. That had to burn him. He looked so angry and shocked that I half expected a Muslim prayer to end his speech. I could almost hear Salam Aleikum rattling around his brain. I know my old Columbia College class of '83 classmate like the back of my hand. I waited for the old tried and true liberal attack on guns, and Obama didn't disappoint. He had his usual hissy fit about guns being to blame, and he blamed them all week. It was the guns' fault. It had to be. After all, the man who picked it up was a Muslim, so you can't blame him. We're under attack by radical Islam, by Muslim extremists, most of the time by lone wolf attackers, where one American citizen with a gun could end the attack and save many lives. But amazingly, Obama's only impulse is to disarm innocent civilians, leaving us helpless to defend ourselves. So now let's examine just a few of the facts about Obama and his strange Muslim obsession. Obama is a man who wants to rush the process of importing more Muslim refugees into the USA, even though his own Homeland Security chief warns we cannot vet them. Obama is not just purposely importing Muslims, he's bringing them in at a record pace, all-time record. Obama refuses to secure the border, even though Muslim terror cells are surely entering the USA hidden amongst the hordes of illegals from Mexico and Central America. Obama is a man who has given green cards to twice the number of immigrants from Muslim nations versus European nations during his term. Doesn't that seem strange to you? We just found out today that Obama has brought 1 million immigrants into America from Muslim nations during his 7.5 years. But just from Sunday's terrorist attack until this past Thursday, he brought 441 Syrian refugees into America in 5 days. 49 of them were sent to Florida. This is madness. This is obscenity. This is obsession. This is a hatred of American exceptionalism and a purposeful plan to fundamentally change America. His words. Remember, Obama's the man who cut $2.6 billion in funding for veterans while at the same time adding $4.5 billion to the budget to relocate Syrian refugees to America. Obama's the man who's obsessed with disarming Americans at the exact same time he arms Muslim extremists. Remember, he recently handed back to the terrorist state Iran $150 billion plus interest, and we know for a fact the interest was used to buy weapons that will be used to murder Americans, Israelis, and other Westerners. Obama's the man who has claimed that terrorists have legitimate grievances. He really said that. Obama's the man who refused to use the word Muslim at a terrorism summit. But remarkably, he opened that summit with a Muslim prayer. Obama's the man who claimed Islam has been woven into our country's fabric from the first days of America. Can you imagine? Obama's the man who refused to meet with Israel's prime minister during a U.S. visit, but found time to meet with the head of a Muslim country, Qatar, that supports terrorism during the same week. Let's never forget, this is the man who refused to place the U.S. flag at the White House at half-mast for almost a week after a terror attack at a U.S. military base. But on Sunday, after a mass murder of gays, Obama ordered the White House flag to be lowered instantly. You couldn't make this stuff up in a fiction movie. You'd be laughed out of Hollywood. Obama's actions are revolting. His address to the nation on Sunday was both embarrassing and insulting, but more importantly, it was telling. No true American could ever give the speech that Obama gave. Can you imagine FDR refusing to use the word Nazi? Can you imagine FDR refusing to use the word Nazi concentration camp, instead just calling it terror? Can you imagine FDR refusing to blame Japan for Pearl Harbor? Picture him giving a speech about 3,000 Americans dead in Pearl Harbor without ever saying the word Japanese. How bizarre. Mr. President, you disgust me. It's time for Obama to resign from office or be removed forcefully by a United States Congress with balls. Oh, and one other thing, pray for President Donald J. Trump this November. I'm Wayne Allyn for Root for America. God bless America.